dudes? Today is the day of reckoning, and I reckon we're gonna get the rundown on some batteries. Let's do this.
Hey guys, I'm the Cyborg Sheep, and welcome to the Weekend Post. If you're a regular viewer of my channel, then it's an absolute guaranteed certainty that you've seen my Razer E90 electric scooter unboxing video, which has amassed 21,601 views, making it my most popular video to this day.
Now, if you're wondering what happened to the scooter, I have some good news and some bad news. Bad news is, it's not working anymore. If you're wondering why, well, the culprit is right here. This little electronic module. She done got overloaded there, and didn't see her let the smoke out, but I could tell by the connector, and you can see here, this one, not factory, but the factory one melted. So, there's your problem. Good news is, however, it shape-shifted and turned into one of these. A Segway! Check this thing out. Awesome, right? Let's get it opened. Right, so, got her on the charge as per the manual. Now, you can't make a video about these hoverboards and put it in a video where you're talking about batteries without mentioning the catastrophe that was the batteries in these things.
In the past, if you were buying one of these hoverboard Segway things, before the regulations came into effect, and especially if you were buying one of the cheap Chinese knockoff ones, you had to be pretty careful. And that is because people would buy these things and they'd be charging them up or using them, and for some unexplained reason, they just go up in flames. Just like that. Now, thankfully, in this day and age, regulations are in place to prevent manufacturers from selling hoverboards that spontaneously combust. However, it's a perfect segue into battery safety, and I'll keep it brief. Do not, under any circumstances, short circuit, overcharge, or over-discharge a battery, especially if it's of the lithium type.
Alright then, so she's all charged up. So, let's give it a try. Turning it on. Hey, there we go. Alright, forward. Backward. Left. Right. Nice. That works.
As a matter of fact, I'm feeling so confident with my riding abilities that I built myself a little obstacle course circuit. Okay, hoverboard's all set up. Right there. So, let's turn it on. Let's get started. Okay. So, first part here, let's try this. Haha, got it. Okay, first part done. Let's see how we can get through here without scratching out the wall there. Slow and steady. Okay, this next part is a little bit more complicated. Kinda do a 1,000,000-point turn here, so to speak. Whoop, a little bit too far. Okay.
And there we go. Okay. Okay. Time for this next part. So, let's see here. Oh yeah, I can get through here. Haha! Did it, okay. Almost through. Move the junk out of the way so that you can get through. I'll just stick that over there. Okay. Oh, okay, and last part. There we go. All the way around. Awesome. So there you go. New hoverboard. I must say, pretty awesome Christmas gift. So, got a couple more things to go over. So, let's get to it.
Despite the fact that these drills look old, I've never actually included them in a video. A local high school was getting rid of these things, so I decided to take them for myself, see if I could get them to work. Threw $69 into the hat, nice, to get an iCAD battery, and for the most part, they've been working ever since.
Now, these drills are a toy, there's no doubt about it. Even when compared to a consumer grade drill like a Ryobi or a Mastercraft or even a Princess Auto Power Fister. But they actually work surprisingly well. In fact, this drill works so well that it's actually my daily driver. However, the drills are not the focus today. The focus today is the battery, and in particular, charging the battery has been somewhat problematic. I think the idea initially was that you would use the drills themselves to charge the battery, and they would come with like an adapter that would just plug in here or plug in here, and the battery would just get trickle charged through the adapter. In this case though, neither of these plugs work. Initially, this plug did work, but now it's busted. So I need another way to charge this battery. To do that, I'm going to cannibalize this drill, since I'm not using it, and steal the battery connector out of it. Okay, so got the adapter made right here, and if we plug it in and give her a voltage check here. Let's see if I can get this in the camera view. Aha! 19 volts. Perfect. So, I think this battery is back in business. Let's move on to the next thing.
If you were in the market to build a high-power 18650 battery pack, then you've probably heard about this V-Resin project. The idea is to make building battery packs simpler, by not requiring the use of spot welding or soldering. But the fact that this product isn't widely available in hardware stores or electronics stores meant that when it came to building my battery pack for my RC car, I needed to try something even simpler.
My first attempt was obvious. I went to my local electronics store and I got one of these cheap 18650 battery holders. But even just looking at this, you can tell you're not going to get much current throughput out of this. Like, at most, maybe you'd be looking at an amp, and even that's a stretch. So to mitigate the current throughput problem, I did away with the old battery contacts and instead went with these bolts and nuts that I got at the hardware store. The assembly of these is quite simple. All you have to do is you
is since the holes that the current battery contacts, or the old battery contacts used, were a little small, I had to drill them out a little bit, and then so that they could fit the bolts, and then the nut just screws on the other side. And after installing a nut and bolt on the other side and installing the cell like so, you can just tighten the screws down on either side, and like so, you have a completed battery holder that should be able to discharge a lot more current. Testing across the screws on either side of the battery, like so, you can see that we get 3.7 volts. Therefore, it's working. Connecting the holders together in series or in parallel is achieved through wire links with crimpable ring terminals on each end. Now, I haven't done current testing on these battery holders, but I do intend to do so in future. The one thing I can tell you, however, is that these battery holders work very well when compared to the old battery holders with the original battery contacts. I've talked about my Xbox One S console before, but the one thing I've never mentioned about it is the fact that the controller goes through an absolutely ridiculous amount of AA batteries in a very short time. Now, I'm sure most of you are aware that you can use the Xbox controller like you would a regular USB keyboard. This is done by plugging the controller into the console directly using a USB cable. In this case, a micro USB cable would be used for older controllers, and a USB-C cable would be used for newer controllers. But I'll let you in on a little secret. So, you can plug the cable directly into the console, but you can also plug it into a USB power bank. And, as you can see in this shot, the controller works exactly as if it's plugged into the console. And as you can see in this shot, the system works flawlessly. No asterisks this time. This is Forza Horizon 3, for those who aren't aware.
Anyways guys, I hope you enjoyed watching me ramble on about batteries of all shapes and sizes. Hit that like button if you liked it, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you dudes in the next episode.